want to make two things very clear up front. I don't know why I start videos the way that I do. Also, I'm about a month late, so don't worry about that. Better late than never, okay? We're gonna go ahead and get right into it. Hello YouTube, Redface here, and welcome to my review of Daredevil Born Again Season 2. First, I want to talk about Daredevil. Oh my gosh, that was actually such a great season of Daredevil. Maybe even the second best season overall, dare I say? No, third, it's top three. It's top three. I say that. Out of the 5 seasons that we have of Daredevil, that was definitely top 3. And I feel like, in a way, it makes season 1 of Born Again even better. And when you look at it like an extended 16 episodes in comparison to the 13 episode formula we had from the previous show, like I said, it makes season 1 of Born Again much better, and while still season 1 being lacking, it makes it re-strengthen any weaknesses that it had, and I really appreciate that. Right now I'm just going through a general overview of things that worked really well overall, and I feel like one thing from really the jump that we have to say is like, wow, that is great, is the writing, of course, the development of all the characters, the way that the story flowed. It never felt like, for the most part, it never felt like things were rushing or taking too long to get a certain place. And especially when it came to the action sequences, I'm somebody who, I guess, like, I know I'm in an incredible minority here. I'm somebody who was like, hey, there doesn't have to be an action scene every episode or every 2 episodes. And the fact that people are complaining about this in Daredevil season 1, Born Again season 1, it's just like, you know, are you paying attention to the story, or do you just want to see people constantly throw hands at each other? They managed to be like, no, it's chaos out here and we're gonna make you feel like it, and they really do. The fight scenes in this season, dare I say it, they really do they really are trying to like throw themselves upward and say, we're competing for like people's favorite spots for Daredevil fight scenes of all time across the entire show, across Netflix, The Defenders, any other appearances he would have had outside of that. And it's completely valid, even if Daredevil wasn't in a fight scene, which I'll get to later. But now something I want to do is I want to jump through the characters individually, and I'll be talking about their story and where things have gone and where I think that they might go. So starting it off with Daredevil, of course, Matt Murdock is borderline non-existent. I mean, I remember even seeing a comment across like the final 2 episodes where people were like, oh, Matt Murdock's finally making a cameo in the Daredevil show. And I was like, that is completely valid. The amount of screen time that we see Charlie Cox in the Daredevil suit all the way through and through is unrivaled to any previous season of Daredevil. There is really no Matt Murdock in, I mean, of course, you know, character-wise, he's not like Spider-Man or Batman or anything like that, where it's like you have Bruce Wayne and then you have Batman. No, fundamentally, Daredevil and Matt Murdock are so much of the same guy that's not even what I'm trying to say. You don't get to see Matt Murdock's, you know, him being in a suit, him being in a being as a lawyer, representative, or anything like that. You just see Daredevil constantly on the upward hill fight against Fisk. And that's something that I think works really well, especially to create that tension of like everything is going crazy. And I especially think that it works well with the city too. You get these moments of interviews with the BB Report and how people are like saying, hey, didn't Fisk do this? Or like, hey, why would I trust a guy who dresses as a devil? And things like that. And it's a very back and forth, and I like that too, because it shows that even if we know as the audience that there is an objective right and wrong, people, I mean, I guess you could say it's mirroring real life, people are going to have their own opinions on things and be like, I'm gonna support this person, I don't trust vigilantes, the streets where I'm living at feel much safer compared to down the block where, unfortunately, even when there are cameras present, bad things happen. Again, mirroring real life, unfortunately. But even with that, I legitimately thought, especially when it came to the last 2 episodes, so like when episode 6 ended, I looked at my friends and I was like, I don't know how this is going to end. And that felt incredible. I'm okay, quick tangent, but I don't like living in this age where there's constantly set photo leaks and people being like, oh, well, we're gonna pull this from this insider and apparently we can form the narrative of the story from here. No, I just want to sit down and just not know what's gonna happen. Like, even if I know what comics and storylines they're pulling from, I would like to be surprised and see what they do with it. And that's not to say like, oh, I'm anti-spoiler. I really don't care if I get spoiled about things because I care more about the experience. But I prefer to just simply be surprised and see what the writers and the producers, which Charlie and Vincent D'Onofrio are producers, I'd like to see what they come up with and, you know, what they would like to serve and produce for the fans. So throughout the season, it constantly made me guess where things would go, and I was right probably not even 50% of the time, and I was really excited about that because I was very pleased with the outcome that I got, which leads me to, of course, Daredevil's character in general throughout the season, especially in regards to Fisk and Bullseye. One thing that I think cannot go unnoticed, and one thing that I think should not go unsaid, is that Matt Murdock's character development from season 1, season 2, season 3, all the way up till now, you have to like appreciate that and you have to acknowledge it. I mean, even just season 3 alone compared to where he is, you can see how much he's matured as both somebody who has become a symbol and just as a man in general. One thing that people did kind of complain about in season 1 of Born Again is that, well, we don't really see Matt praying that much. We don't see him going to church that often. And I was kind of questioning that because, you know, take season 3 for example. Even though he's having a whole battle with faith, he's not praying that much. He's not going to church. He's not even really, he's constantly avoiding conversation, if anything. I mean, compared to season 2, where he is like in that actual fight between living as Matt Murdock and living as Daredevil, he's constantly throwing away his friends and pushing away his morality and his, you know, safety net to be like, no, I'd rather just beat people up. But to see a Matt Murdock who is constantly being like, hey, I need to protect those close to me, and even saying to Bullseye verbatim, I'm trying to save you because I tried to kill you, so I think the penance is mutual, that's really exciting to see. I mean, there are even points, especially after his fight with Fisk, which I love, and I'll get to in a second, where I really thought, dang, maybe Matt is probably just gonna have to kill Kingpin. He's probably just gonna have to kill him. It's unfortunate to say, but I don't know, I really think we might be getting some sort of version of that scene in the comics. I think it was the Ultimate one, where he's like, hey, I tried everything else, but they didn't go that path. And I think that the way that they ended it was a little bit more fitting, and that makes me very intrigued for what they have stored in season 3. And quick little tangent again, I've seen a bunch of people cosplaying, and trust me, alright, I'm going to get my cosplay ready for this as well, where they have Daredevil in prison, and every single one of them, without fail, have had as their like description under each post, Devil in Cell Block D. Guys, I'm not gonna pretend like I've read every Daredevil comic. I'm going to. Like, that's non-negotiable. In my lifetime, I will figure out a way to do that. But Devil in Cell Block D is when Matt Murdock is accused of being Daredevil, but he's like constantly saying, I'm not Daredevil, I'm not him, you gotta let me out, I'm innocent, and you know, whatever else. That's Devil in Cell Block D. What you're referring to is the Zdarsky run, where he goes to prison but is allowed to keep his identity because Daredevil has killed a man. So he's trying to ride out his sentence. But again, quick little tangent aside, let's talk about Kingpin. Kingpin is definitely one of Matt Murdock's I mean, shoot, also Spider-Man's. Any street vigilante in general, he's the biggest antithesis of them, but especially Matt Murdock. And I feel like between this season and also just like the last couple of years with him strictly being Daredevil antagonist, I mean, honestly, he's kind of not even a 50-50 between him and Spider-Man anymore, even though people wouldn't probably like to admit that. I think that Kingpin has gone through quite a bit of, and I love it, don't get me wrong, I love it. He's gone through quite a bit of a character regression. He's become really a monster, and I love it. I think that one point that was brought up to me that I actually liked a lot and I appreciated more after I thought about it was somebody saying that they killed off Vanessa because she really didn't serve that much of a purpose, apart from just throwing Kingpin over the edge. And after I thought about that, I was like, well, you know, not that the actress or anything with the character is bad, but it was true. You know, when it came to Vanessa, or what many people would call the Queen Pin, she, you know, even if she was just like existing to restrain Wilson from all of his darker impulses and things like that, yeah, that was pretty much it. She wasn't taking over his spot when he was absent because of Echo. She wasn't moving things on the side anymore, because at that point they were just trying to take control of this one area to make sure that their criminal empire was working. And at that point, she was very much just a supporting character, and they took her out. And where did that leave Kingpin? That left him spiraling. That left him, you know, a worse man. I will say though, and this is just me, I feel like it would have been better if they didn't have an entire episode, what was it, episode 5, where they were just playing around with her being possibly okay. I mean, we knew, or at least I can say I knew that she was going to die. I just wish that it hadn't been played out. I would have preferred to see more than just about 2 or 3 episodes of Wilson in mourning and making unhinged and very dangerous, destructive decisions to others, and, you know, throwing himself off the edge. Something that I kind of said earlier that I'm going to mention now too is the fight that Daredevil and Kingpin have. I really love that fight, and I'm glad that they didn't just try to make like a round 2 in the final episode, because that fight, apart from the fact that nothing can really be resolved from the ending just because Daredevil won, shows that, hey, yeah, Matt is officially this skilled that even if it's a quote-unquote close fight, he's not going to be able to do anything if he's not willing to. And, you know, you could even argue the same thing with Spider-Man. Spider-Man could have swung in there. He wouldn't, because Sony hates us. Spider-Man could have swung in there and been like, okay, I'm going to web you up. I'm going to beat you until my knuckles bleed and until you're bruised, black and blue. But you still would have been mayor. That would have been point for the mayor and point actually deduction from the vigilantes, because that makes them look bad. It goes to show that in this case, similar to season 1, there is no winning through fisticuffs here. It has to be the law in some way, shape, or form. So I like that a lot. I think that his ending, apart from the fact that he brutalized, if not, well, also brutalized and killed so many people in that exit hallway scene, the ending has me mixed with his character, because apparently he's confirmed for season 3, which is interesting. I'm not sure how much there's gonna be for him to do. I'll get back to it in a sec. I'll get back to it later, but I actually thought, especially during season 1, that if anything, somehow Kingpin was gonna die. If it was gonna be by Daredevil, if it was gonna be by Karen, Bullseye, somehow he was gonna go, and then Daniel Blake was going to fill in the shoes and be the new Kingpin. Similar-ish to his son in the comics, but again, I'll get back to that later. Moving on, I want to talk about Karen. Karen is a character that I've had a very, I'll say, love-hate relationship with. In season 1, I thought she was pretty good. In season 2, it dipped down quite a bit. It wasn't because she was siding with Frank a little bit. I actually think that that fits very well with her character, especially her past. But in season 3, she really brought herself back for me, and I like that quite a bit. And then of course we don't see much of her in season 1 of Born Again. And in this season, this is probably the most vigilante we've seen Karen. And I highlight that word specifically, I emphasize it, because that makes me think that given the fact that Elektra may not come back in this upcoming season or in the future of any if they make Defenders projects, I think it's incredibly likely that one way, shape, or form, it's very possible that we see Karen become some sort of Daredevil of her own while Matt is in prison. And I think that despite her lack of experience in fighting, it would be tricky, especially given the fact that one thing that I feel like was also slightly overlooked given their relationship and incredible line between to kill and not to kill was the fact that Karen was incredibly willing and incredibly passionate and advocating for, like, hey, some people just gotta go. And Matt is being like, we can't do that. Like, I'm not willing to cross over that line. I mean, they apologized about it briefly, but it feels like something that was pretty glossed over quickly as opposed to something that could have been a little bit more explored and handled more efficiently, because I get Matt wanting to overlook a lot of things, and maybe even both Matt and Karen listening to other person's opinions and being like, I don't agree, or I agree to only this extent. But I feel like things could have gone a lot better for a fully fledged conversation to happen between them in regards to a subject like taking a life. And I also think too that it would have been an incredibly good way to kind of, in one way or another, recreate the scene in season 2 between Matt and Punisher. That is a scene between them discussing the morals of taking a life when it comes to somebody who's a criminal and who has done wrong. That holds up so much today because that's always in discussion. And even just something brief beyond just her yelling at Matt would have been more fulfilling, at least in my opinion. Alright, moving forward one more time, I gotta talk about Bullseye. Oh my freaking goodness. Now, I want to make one thing incredibly clear. Bullseye in the comics is a menace. He's sadistic, and depending on the writer, which I don't really like that much, depending on the writer, he can be incredibly inconsistent. He can have some morals and be like, oh, I don't kill children. Like, adults, yeah, children, no. And then other series, he'll be like, murder everybody. I'm killing everybody. I'm out for heads, you know? But here, they've done something incredibly unique with Dex's character, and the actor has actually confirmed it himself. He's like, yeah, they made him somebody who, seeking approval seems a little bit incorrect to say. They've done something with Poindexter where he's constantly trying to chase what he thinks is redemption. And that's not to say that he's an anti-hero by any means. I mean, even Punisher wouldn't team up with him if they were both trying to mow down task force agents. But it is to say that he's somebody who, in his twisted mindset, thinks that he's doing the right thing. But I also think that that works for this version of the character, who has, I'd argue, a more developed background and origin than the version that we have in the comics. And that makes me like this version of Bullseye and appreciate him way more. It's beyond just, oh, an iconic skill and suit, and to somebody who's like, oh, I actually do kind of like this character a little bit. And that especially makes me way more excited about where he could go in the future. A lot of people are saying Thunderbolts. I'm not exactly sure how true that is. I mean, Valentina was mentioned in episode 1, with the inclusion of Charles. And of course, he also just got a new suit. Again, don't prefer set leaks, but seeing that suit, that did make my week when I did see it. It was very exciting, and I love that a lot. Just looking at it, it's beautiful. I think that we're incredibly likely to see this Bullseye go through something that I don't know if I mentioned this before in my previous video talking about Daredevil, but I'm mentioning it now. I think we're seeing a Bullseye who is constantly looking for his quote-unquote North Star. And at first, what I was led to believe, and what I think a lot of people were led to believe, is that he was like, oh, well, it's Daredevil. You know, I'm meant to be his enemy. I'm meant to be his mirrored reflection. And I think that the suit that he's wearing is already conveying that a lot more, that I'm still thinking they're going in that direction. But in season 2, it's very clear that he was looking for some sort of redemption, because he was like, I should have died that night and I didn't. So how can I right my wrongs, you know? Killing bad people, that makes up for killing good people. Remember that. No, but Dex has had some incredibly great scenes, and the way that Wilson plays the character makes him very menacing, but also very likable. Like, he is actually a likable villain, and I appreciate that a lot. I do think, though, and I know we're going into theory land, we're going into just like, oh, this is what I want. Yeah, I'm talking about it. I would still love to see some way, somehow, some shape or form, Bullseye kills the wrong person. It could be Sister Maggie, it could be Karen, it could be Kirsten. I don't know. I think that one scene that I would love to see is for them to be fighting, they somehow end up in an alleyway or whatever, rooftop, doesn't matter, and Matt is just like, you know what? I can't kill you, but you're not going back into hiding. Everybody's gonna know who you are. He picks up a glass, one of his knives, and he just carves that Bullseye insignia into his forehead. That's all we're missing, and I don't know, I don't think that's all we're missing, but it would look nice. It would look nice. Now finally, I want to talk about one character specifically, Cole North. Now, if you guys saw the previous video, you know that I was so upset with how they handled Cole North. I was so angry at how they made him a corrupt cop and they made him a vigilante killer and, you know, this, that, and the third. I didn't like it. And throughout the season, oh my gosh. Well, first of all, he's not highlighted as one of the more important characters, but throughout the season, you see this hesitation with him where he is constantly being like, okay, I'm not sure what you're talking about over here. You're acting a little out of line. Are we not still the good guys? That type of thing. There's one point where he gets an order to shoot the prisoners in, what was that, episode 3? And it's very subtle, but if you listen out for it, you hear a what? And that's from Cole North. So you can already see that there's something breaking where he's like, I thought that I was the hero. Why am I doing all these things that are very, very wrong? Like, screw the law, morality, that's very, very wrong, you know? And then that comes back at the end of the season, episode 8? Yes, episode 8, where Powell is like, okay, if you all take another step, I'm gonna shoot you. And everybody's there, and they're like, we are gonna stop the mayor. We're gonna make sure that we get in there and that justice, the city prevails. Powell's like, okay, shoot him. And Cole's like, no, knocks him out immediately, lets everybody through. I was not recording. I feel like this is gonna be like one of the things that I'm just gonna have to start doing. I was not recording my reaction when I was watching that episode. But best believe that when Cole knocked Powell out, I actually jumped up from my seat and I screamed. I've never done it before either. That's how excited I was about this character that I love. I jumped, I was like, let's go! That's my Cole North! That's my North! I love that so much. That made me so excited. And of course, him, Pal, all the other anti-vigilante agents or whatever, they're in prison. They're right there alongside Matt, and that's gonna be some fight. Like, they have the perfect opportunity to make some great fight scenes between that alone. But you know, of course, he's gonna have to do his time there. We hopefully will get some more character development from North too. But you know, just leaving it with that, I had to highlight it because, oh my gosh, that made me so happy. Jumping in with other characters though, we're just gonna do lightning rounds for each of them. BB kind of annoyed me throughout the entire season, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't just the fact that I feel like she was in a lot of scenes where it's like, you shouldn't be. It's like, we could have done something else. She was constantly reporter first, and like, I get it, you know, that's her job or whatever. But even like when it came to how she treated Daniel and how she was like reading situations, it was just like, are you even a real person? Because she would literally go to the hospital and be like, hey, what's her condition? Are you serious? You were all there when Bullseye attacked the boxing match. You're not gonna ask if he's okay? I mean, obviously Daniel's fine, but really? You're gonna do this here? Or, again, later, the next episode, at Vanessa's funeral, it just happens to be Daniel's birthday. And then she's like, so we're gonna do anything? And very reasonably, like, discounting the corruption, discounting everything, very reasonably, Daniel's like, I'm just not in the party mood. And she's like, oh, come on, you're really gonna blow me? Like, no, BB, stop talking. Stop talking. And that leads me into, of course, Daniel's character. Daniel had one of the, I mean, I'm not gonna say one of the best, but it was a very good and very enjoyable 180 or self-sacrifice thing, where you see those constant doubts. You see, like, even in season 1 where he's always afraid of what could happen to him, but he's never like willing to admit it. I feel like it works so well with him and like wanting to protect those close to him, because it's like, yeah, you know, maybe he does believe in Fisk like so much and to a T, but like the corruption is just not something that he can fully stomach. And I think that you can definitely see that he's just somebody who's like, yeah, I want to be validated, I want to be accepted, but at the end he does choose to do the right thing, and it works out really well. And then talking about it again when it comes to the right thing, Foggy, of course, being the essential moral compass for Matt. It's beautiful, like, in every sense of the word, it's beautiful. Episode 5, with the constant flashbacks with Foggy and Matt, and then of course Daredevil trying to rescue Bullseye, they mirror each other so well, and it's like a teaching in mercy. I mean, like, Foggy literally mentions it. He's like, well, there's got to be something in the Bible about mercy, right? And it goes to show that underlying dilemma once again between Matt, not just both as a vigilante and a lawyer, but also as someone practicing the law and somebody who is a devout Catholic, that mercy is important. Not just judgment, not just vengeance, but also grace and mercy. That is very fundamental. And, you know, it's very easy to get caught up into the actions that people do. And it's like constantly, as the years go by and as atrocities happen, it's very easy to be like, well, this person committed a horrible action. They're past the point of redemption. We need to give up on them. But that's not always the case. If somebody's willing to change, if somebody is willing to actually put in the work and become a better person, then who are we, human to human, to deny them that chance to become better and to have life, you know? It's something I really appreciate. I was really happy to see Foggy back. And again, I stay away from spoilers and set leaks as much as possible, but it was inevitable. I did hear that Foggy was gonna come back in season 2 of Born Again. I was like, are you serious? Does death mean nothing? But it being a flashback was the perfect way to handle it. I loved it a lot. When it came to Matt's relationship with Church, of course, I was fine, like, with how it was handled. I would have loved to see Sister Maggie. Maybe she'll come back for season 3, visit Matt in prison. That would be nice. But her involvement would have been great to see. Same thing with Detective Mahoney. I don't know if I mentioned this in my last video or not, but I'm mentioning it now. I feel like Officer Cherry, like, especially because he's like a retired cop, it would have done nothing. It would have literally done nothing if they were just like, yeah, Officer Cherry does not exist as a character. Oh, like, go back in season 1 of Born Again and go through the appearances that Cherry has and his talks with Matt and replace his character with Detective Mahoney. It would have been fine. Like, again, no hate towards Cherry as a character, even though not much to him that much, not at the forefront. But he could have been replaced with Detective Mahoney and it would have been fine, especially since Brett is a character that we've had all the way back since season 1. So, you know, I don't know. Alright, I can't keep going on that tangent. Like, the only thing that would have been really different, per se, is just like the scene in episode 1, 2, I don't remember which, where, you know, Cherry's having a heart attack and that kind of triggers Matt a little bit. But you could have, even then, you could have just said that it was something else that triggered Matt. Anyway, moving on. Where do I think that this is going to go further in season 3? Well, for starters, Spider-Man Brand New Day, Spider-Man's going to end up fighting the Hand in prison. Now, the Hand affects everybody wherever they are, whether it's Wolverine, whether it's Spider-Man, but most notably, of course, it is Matt Murdock. I think that Charlie's lying. Again, he could be telling the truth. He could be telling the truth every single step of the way. I'm not in Spider-Man. But I think that he's lying, and I also hope that he's lying. It would be fantastic and incredible to see Daredevil back again and teaming up with Spider-Man. That would be, like, it's one thing to see Matt Murdock with Peter Parker, but it's an entirely separate thing altogether to see Daredevil with Spider-Man. That would be beautiful to see. That's number 1. Number 2, as far as things go with, like, both the Defenders, which are rumored to return, I think there's already set leaks, I think, of Iron Fist, Luke Cage, who did appear at the end of the show, and Jessica Jones in season 3 of Daredevil. And I think that really they're just going to be protecting Hell's Kitchen and the rest of New York when there is no Daredevil. I also believe that as far as Daredevil being in prison, it's a question of, like, okay, how long is Matt going to be in prison for? How are they going to really make it seem like, oh, this is going to be essentially him in hell, because people are going to be after him, being like, yo, that's Daredevil, let's try to kill him, you know? There's a lot of different ways that things can go. I actually do think, again, even though I touched on it earlier, the difference between Devil in Cell Block D and the Zdarsky run of Lockdown, I do think they're going to follow Lockdown more, only because there's going to be those fights, and there's going to be Matt most likely having to like literally fight for his survival and things like that. Maybe even against corrupt officers who are going to be like doing the same thing to him that they did in Daredevil season 2 with Punisher, where they're going to be locking the gate behind them and be like, good luck. I think that's very likely. Fundamentally, here's what I do think, though. I think that right now they're at a point where whatever happens in Daredevil season 3, which I personally don't believe that it'll be the last season. A lot of people think that for some reason. I don't know if that's been confirmed, but whatever happens in season 3, it's going to end with Matt Murdock coming back, being out of prison, and then being both Matt Murdock and Daredevil again. And one thing that I do think is incredibly likely, especially being a lawyer, is that we could actually have some inspiration based off of the newer comics, where Daredevil will either go to San Francisco and practice law there, or he'll be a teacher while trying to be Daredevil and fight against the Hand and, you know, things like that. But either way, I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see what they come up with, because clearly what they've been doing, especially in season 2, has worked phenomenally. But yeah, that was me rambling on about Daredevil for probably about an hour now. I'm not gonna apologize for it. I love talking about Daredevil. So yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you slam your face in the subscribe button until it is red. Your face, not the subscribe button that's supposed to turn gray. And make sure you also like and share the video, because that helps out a lot too. And until next time, Redface out. Goodbye, guys. I'm gonna go get that Spider-Man Brand New Day hoodie. It's at Hot Topic, so I'm gonna go get that. Alright, bye.
I should be like you, Mel.